So, we had some technical issues when filming the usual Hätilä match discussion video. I managed to resurrect it in a sort of podcast format. There's an audio download link in the description, or you can watch us blather away in low quality video here. If you haven't watched the main video on the match, that's also linked in the description. Enjoy! Hello and welcome to Bloke on the Range, and I'm here at Hätilä 2023, as is traditional, with Jari of Varusteleka and Les of Polaris Worldwide Logistics, Pegasus Tests, and we've just shot all 7 stages of the pre-match of the 2023 Hätilä match, and it's been rather fun. So what we're going to do is, like we did last year, because that format kind of worked, we're going to do the first 4 stages and a bit of kit discussion in the first video, second video, the remaining 3 stages, and a wrap-up. And firstly, Hätilä Häme have put on an amazing match, as they always do. Every year is better and better and better, and it's absolutely fantastic. So first up, the kit. You might have noticed that me and Jari are kind of matching twins here with what's the shirt you thrust into my hands?
Yeah, it's our new color for our lightweight wool check shirt. Just came out I think on Tuesday, Wednesday, so it's brand spanking new, and because we were planning to run the AKs and the M91 chest rigs, I thought this might be a good color match.
It does, and it's very comfortable. It's performed well. You wouldn't know that we were both rolling around in the dust earlier. It shook that off. But guns wise, we've gone a bit sort of Wolverines style here.
Wolverines! Oh, Matt!
So what's your rifle?
This my AK build. It's originally Weber, pretty crappy when I bought it. Then I changed the Magpul furniture. It has the ALG trigger. It's actually kind of pimped out by Ziga from Poland Tactical. Then I have the Aimpoint Comp M4, I think, on the Texas Weapons Instrument or whatever dust cover, so I don't have the different optics leg. And then inside I have a heavier recoil spring, and
you dragged it through the Magpul catalogue.
Yeah, that was only what I had available when I made this build, so it has a Magpul furniture and Unrivaled Technologies comp and Surefire. So it's a pretty nice AK. Probably if I would build this again, I would have a different furniture, but it works.
Yeah, mine is the Finnish RK we have at home. It's a Chinese Type 56-2, which has got a bit of a Taliban 2.0 vibe. But in the early 90s, the Finns bought like 200,000 of these to replace the last Mosin M39s and KP31 submachine guns in inventory, and they are very rarely seen in the wild. But this is a early 90s commercial, Norenko commercial, absolutely stock. Nothing changed on it, original sights, plain muzzle. I mean, this is basic. So I was running it in standard. Jari has done TST without plates, so got a backpack on full of rocks probably to make up the 12 kilos. Interesting to run bare bones, trash tier stuff. So Les has done the Friends Don't Let Friends Bring Bullpups Steyr AUG. So what's going on with this one?
Yeah, it's a pretty stock Steyr AUG with the exception of 16-inch barrel and the NATO stock. So I'm working off Stanag mags instead of the standard AUG magazine.
That's an improvement.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. The trigger on this thing is really absolute garbage, and I would say most of my long
worse than this
were due to just a crappy ass trigger pull.
Yeah.
So that's getting changed when I get back to the world.
Yeah, and kit wise,
I went early 90s Blackhawk. This has been my field rig since the 90s. It works well when I go out and patrol and everything, and I just wanted to put it to the test here in Finland just to see how it worked. And yeah, some of the stages it was pretty darn awesome. CQB, it's not a CQB rig. This is a patrolling rig, but still got the job done.
Yeah. So compared to our sick, I think you call them perverted M91 Chicoms. Unfortunately, they're discontinued. The material ran out, so you might be able to find one on the second-hand market, but they're not.
At least at the moment, but if we come up with another roll, some interesting fabric, why not? But the M91 is gone.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the first 4 stages we shot. We are running stage 6 tomorrow at the main match. We built it yesterday, shot it as our first stage, and it was super cool. So what did we do?
The scenario is that you start as a prisoner of war, but you decide to escape. So starting position is that your hands are zip tied and you have a hood over your head and you are put on a stress position next to the wall, and then you need to break the zip ties, take the hood off, and kind of attack the prisoner compound.
And the interesting thing is that you had to start with the rifle and the pistol next to you. You had to holster the pistol. You had 10 rounds in the rifle. You could put more magazines in a designated area in the house, but most people didn't. So how did that go for you, Les?
I went about fair to middling and stuff. Tactics-wise, I did all right. Speed-wise, definitely could have been better. I was running in molasses. But the training value of this facility that's available is just uncompromised, and the chance to shoot in that thing was just phenomenal.
Yeah. And it's always weird shooting steel very, very close here. I mean, you shoot rifle steel at 25 meters in SRR competitions, and that's something quite special. But I thought that was a lot of fun, and you get the difference of approach as the sport shooting gamer monkey and the two more practical guys approach it rather differently. But that went well for me. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was fun, and for me it was the first run of the day. I was a bit of rusty, but no, it was great fun.
So unfortunately, Jari had to go to an RO meeting, so it's just the two of us ugly mugs.
We can handle this.
We can handle this.
We got it.
So stage 2 was also very, very cool. It was up on the hill with the NZO guys with the 308 version of the Car 21 as a DMR, and there were 3 DMR targets that you could engage with up to 5 rounds. Rifle on safe, and then you go into a trench system with your pistol. And that was really cool.
That was a very fun stage. I really enjoyed that. The DMR was nice. The rifle was good enough that I got 3 targets, 3 rounds, and I knew I made the hit as soon as I pulled the trigger. It was awesome.
I missed one. I used 4 rounds. Sorry, that's my shame. My shame is palpable. But the pistol shooting went quite well. Pistol-wise, I'm shooting an FN BDA-9, so not the Browning BDA-9, which is a rebadged SIG P210, 6L P210. It's the double action high power, which is the P80 in Finnish service. It is the worst pistol in Finnish service, and it's the worst double stack pistol I own. But actually, I've been getting on with it.
You have been performing with it and stuff.
Surprisingly.
You have been.
So, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say about that other than it was a really cool stage.
It was a fun stage.
How it went.
Yeah, I mean, once you DMR'd it, then you had to clear the trench, basically. The OZ9 that I was shooting, great pistol, performed flawlessly, and no complaints. You really should think about getting one.
So, moving on after that was our third stage of the day, which was stage 1. Mm-hmm. What happened there?
Well, we went up there from the starting point. You engaged some poppers, you ran forward, engaged some cardboard targets. Then you went to another shooting position where you had to engage a long-range series of the pop-up Rasta targets at about 300 meters.
350 was the longest.
350, yeah.
290 to 350.
And then you finished off with a few more Rastas that were fairly close range at the end of the shooting box.
Yeah. And this is where the limitation of the AK as a platform, particularly with stock iron sights. I mean, if you've ever shot a cheap air rifle, that's what the sights look like. It's a big, wide open U-notch. They're close to your eye. They're very difficult to focus on. There's a huge tendency to raise your head up to watch if the targets have reacted. Most of most of the targets in Hätilä are 50 meters or less. It's just occasionally you'll get these longer ones. And of the 3 long-range ones, I hit one. I don't know whether I was even aiming at it when it went over. It could have been ricochet from shooting at a different one. And I couldn't find out where my hold should have been. Last time I zeroed this on a 300 meter range with electronic targets. And it was doing fine. But I suspect at that distance, the grouping capacity of this rifle is larger than the target. So there's a certain amount of luck.
We'll factor that in with the quality of ammo. And
you're banal, which is normally quite good, but Chinese AKs are what they are.
Yeah, you're probably throwing out the ammo barrel thing was probably a 6 MOA thing there, so that could explain. You could have been right on target, missing left and right.
And the targets are 40 centimeters wide.
Yeah.
So 6 MOA at 300 meters is 6 sevens are 40. It's the size of the target. Plus, then add in the fact that the beep has happened. So. Everything goes out the window.
The circle area of probability was much greater than the target zone.
And it could have shifted. You never know with these things, and when they're hot, and blah blah blah. Anyway, my excuses. I had to leave 2 standing, so I got two penalties there.
Well, the long range targets didn't cause me a problem because on here I have a green dot from HoloSun, nice and crisp, backed up by a HoloSun 3X magnifier. So when I did miss the problem, it didn't come from the sights, it came from this god-awful trigger.
This trigger is better than that one.
Yes, indubitably, absolutely. Without qualification, I say that he's right. That was the cause of my long-range misses.
Yeah.
As for what's going to be my overall score in that, time-wise wasn't good because I got to the end and the RO goes, "Are you done shooting?" And I'm like, he wouldn't say that unless, and then immediately went back. I missed 2 cardboard targets right after I popped the Yastas and went back, collected them, and then stage was over. But overall, that one was really fun because you started from the kneeling, so nice tactical position, some quick up targets you got to leave, but then they had a kind of a shooting table set up where you had no excuse not to get a good supported shooting position to get those targets, so they were immensely doable.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, all the short range stuff, the AK runs fine. It's just those long ones that you're just stuffed on. And I tried shooting at the road to see splash, but it's hard packed and it's been a bit damp, so we weren't seeing splash. No idea. It's weird because last year it was really dry and dusty, and it would splash nicely on the road. But
the post-a-notch sight has had its time.
Its time was over
a century ago.
It just still taking time to catch up. So stage 2, which was down the hill from stage 1, and it had a kind of cool setup because you started looking through a spotting scope, and you were looking at some targets, and there were some letters, numbers marked on them that you had to call out, and when you called them out, you got the start signal, and then you stood up, cocked your rifle, and you had some pepper poppers at about 25 meters, and then you moved down a little trail, 6 paper targets, and then down further, and some longer ones, again, the ones that you'd called the figures from previously, which were not quite as far. So how did that go for you?
It felt pretty good. On the paper targets, my hits were all a little low, so I picked up more Charlies than I needed, even somehow managed to find a miss. But, this is, because we're on this finished training area and have access to these things, I went for full training value on the stage, so I actually started off the stage doing a salute report by what I could see and finished it up by calling out the code we were supposed to call out. So went for training value on that one.
Yeah. In my case, I'd learned a little bit from the previous bad experience with the long targets, and I was having to explore with kind of volume of fire, but I was tending low, knowing that if you do kick up some dirt or something, or some pebbles or some ricochet, that will take the targets over. They will detect that and fall, and I got them all off, although I had to do a reload. It took more than 30 rounds. Yeah, you really see the limitations of the AK as a platform, and no, the Russian ones are not any better.
No. I mean, Jari would, I think, be the first to admit that him ending with 1 round left in the magazine was luck more than anything. I think he would totally cop to that.
Yeah, yeah, but like there is nothing fundamentally wrong with the Chinese ones. They're. I mean, I know I'm going to get hate in the comments and people disagreeing, and oh well, my Russian one will do three moa consistently.
Okay, yours will.
Maybe.
What about all the other ones?
All right, show me a bunch of 10 round groups doing it at a decent range at 300, not at picnic table 50 meter or 100 meter.
Exactly.
We got decent proper distance on it. The 5th stage we shot first of this video was stage 5, which was awesome, and Les is just itching to tell you all about it.
So yeah, you go up and there's 3 cars and it simulates you're in a convoy that's just been hit. Matter of fact, you start laying partly in the vehicle and your weapon separated from you. On the start signal, you retrieve your weapon, get into the firing position, engage a whole shitload of targets. That is a term, by the way. And once you do there, you move to the 2nd car and you've got to engage 2 Yasta targets from under it. Which was a very complicated shot because the car tires were out, so you didn't have very much clearance at all. From there, you went to the 3rd car, engaged 4 more targets, then retrieved injured personnel, went back to the 2nd car, and then engaged more targets through the windows of the car. Absolutely, yes! Awesome stage.
It was absolutely awesome. And I was worried about my nice new Varusteleka Sarme wool shirt rolling around in the mud, but it's just shucked it off. Wool is great. Brilliant stuff. So yeah, that actually went really well on the shooting for me. I went sort of reverse prone on or side prone, lying on my right shoulder to get under, because AK mags are seriously long. And I would rather have the rifle sort of correctly in my shoulder, but my body odd, than trying to do the sort of thing you have to do with a VTAC barrier. So I went over on my side. You didn't though. You went normal prone.
I went tactical. You try to get behind the wheel well of the vehicle because that's where your protection is. Everything else is just concealment. So I tried to go for that, and I just canceled my rifle inboard, and that got me the clearance I needed. 2 shots, targets went down.
Yeah. And yeah, as I said, the shooting went really well for me, but I got a penalty because I didn't drag the dummy quite far enough. About 2 inches, 5 centimeters were just over the line. So I unfortunately got a penalty there. So anything else to say about that other than wow?
Awesome. I mean, all of the stages here have been absolutely incredible between stage design and the facilities that the Armor Brigade makes available. But I think that one is like my favorite for the match.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely brilliant. So onwards and upwards to stage 4, using one of the houses up here again. This was awesome.
Yeah.
So you start outside and there's some steel. You run inside, there's a bunch of paper. It's all pretty up close and personal, and you can sport shooter it like I do, or you can tactical it. Although there were some tight safety angles, so you weren't allowed to fully
tactical too much.
So there's a bit of skidding backwards and stuff to keep muzzles pointing in the right direction.
So Jari's not here, but I will iterate for him. Don't rescue us, please.
No. If I'm the person who has to rescue you, you've got bigger problems. But I was feeling the rifle, and I took a lot of that on the move. And I don't really get to practice shooting on the move much, but these, I shot them on the move. I could have done it in a single mag, I think. I don't think I made too many makeup shots. But I changed mags at one point because it just gave me the comfort to not have to worry about it. It's just peace of mind. It didn't cost me that much time to change. I did it sort of coming out of the first room. But the peace of mind knowing that ammo was not an issue was good.
Not a bad choice. I didn't make that choice. I just stayed with the ammo that was in the gun.
Until there was no more ammo.
Until there was no, and then I just tactically dealt with the situation. First thing is, this is doing CQB. CQB is a team sport. This is nothing you ever do by yourself. Matter of fact, your first go-to CQB tactic should always be nuke it from orbit. I mean, buildings eat people. And this tactical problem was especially hard. Our friend Ian, with its horrible crippling disease of being left-handed, would have done well at this stage.
Yes, it was actually a stage that favored
anti-right-handed stage for sure.
Like everything was anti-right-handed. It's like normally stage design favors right-handers, and this absolutely punished 90% of people.
Yeah, this was not right-hand friendly.
Yeah. So yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah, it definitely was.
And the last stage was stage 5, and this was a pistol-only stage, and it started by throwing a grenade. There was a bit of a pyrotechnic effect. Drew the pistol. I forgot that the pistol was made ready in the holster, because every other stage it's been magazine inserted, not made ready. So I racked a live round out. Ho-hum, never mind. And then you enter the house, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff, and you shoot it. And then you get to the end, you open a hatch, and you have to shoot the last 2 steel one-handed.
Yep. Very, very fun stage. You know, get to start off by throwing a grenade, and everybody likes to throw handheld democracy. You know, and the pyrotechnic effect, this is just phenomenal. They did that last year with the Law, and it just adds a flavor to it. Then you had 2 immediately small plates. I think they were, what, about 4 inches?
Oh, they're big.
Oh, okay.
They're like
Maybe
8
6
or
inches.
10 or something.
Whatever. They were there. You had to engage them. Then you went into a series of rooms. I chose to do it tactically. I pied my corners. I took up points of dominance in the room. I feet shuffled the right way. I'm sure my time is twice as Mike's, but
I ran in and shot everything.
Yeah.
Mostly on the move. Again, something I don't do very much, but I was feeling it in the zone with my crap tier pistol.
well, when you have a training facility this good to avail yourself was, I was like, training value trumps score. And let's be honest, the Finns are so damn good, we're not beating them.
No, they're seriously good. But yeah, so that was overall an amazing match, and you may have spotted some technical issues with the cameras. Sorry, not my camera. But
It's not a match without camera gremlins.
No, quite. So thank you so much to the organisers. Thank you so much to the sponsors and our gracious hosts. And the food is great, the accommodation's been good, and it's just generally an awesome event. I'm so glad I came out. Next year, the Nationals are going to be hosted here, so there won't be this match as such. So I might have to come up here for a different match, smaller match. But we'll work that out. That's a year away. That's a long time in the future. But thank you very much to Les for being a gentleman and a scholar, as always. And thanks to the people who support Bloke on the Range financially via Patreon or Player. They enable me to be here shooting garbage tier side folding stock Chinesium AKs because reasons. Because I like this sort of thing.
It is your superpower.
It is my
friend.
superpower, except the long shots. The long shots in the morning defeated the superpower because I can't overcome the basic inaccuracy of the sights and,
We have
and
found
the base
the
rifle.
limitations of your power.
Yeah, actually, a slight aside, if I brought my M16A1 with irons or my SAR-80 or something like that, I would not have had the problems at long range.
No, that's kind of the beauty, to add a little epilogue here about
Yeah.
this. Because these stages have a military utility, you can do them with military standard firearms.
Yeah.
I would have no trouble taking an M16A2 and doing this with iron sights.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was awesome. And thank you so much for watching, and see you again sometime.